Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore. And as always, your espresso is delivered by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. Big day on the espresso for a wide variety of topics. Let's start with the Concacaf Nations League semifinals tonight. You can watch on Paramount Plus. U.S. men's national team playing Panama at 7 p.m., followed by Mexico and Canada at 10:30. For the U.S., a few questions. Josh Sargent, can he be the guy that we see at club level with the national team? He's had bad luck with injuries, but he has never consistently been that player. And there's a lot of options at the number 9 position, but no one has really taken it for themselves yet. Sargent should get that opportunity. Will he take it? These games are coming. I guess the schedule of games is getting thinner and thinner for the U.S. as they get ready to host the World Cup next summer. It's not that far away. Sargent needs to take advantage of this tournament to really show that he can be that guy. I'd be very intrigued to see his performance under Mauricio Pochettino. I'm really looking forward to seeing Tyler Adams fully healthy under Mauricio Pochettino. Adams might be the most important player for this USMNT. I really think he's the engine of the group. And having him fully healthy, I think Pochettino is going to get the best out of him, and I think he's going to elevate the team. Weston McKennie wants to see some, quote, nastiness, unquote, in this match for this team and in just going forward now. Not dumb nastiness, not getting caught with red cards in the first half of group stage games of competitions like last summer. Not that kind of nastiness, but nastiness in the sense that this is a difficult team to beat. This is a team that's got a little bit of edge to it. I'm totally with Weston on that side of things. I guess my question now is, can Maurizio Pochettino and the U.S. show that they are something more than they have been? I think this is a team, and you can honestly go back to post 1994, because 1994, I think, was the real coming out party of, hey, wait a minute, this is a team that can win some games. This is a team that can pull some upsets. This is a team that is competitive with the best teams in the world, even if on paper they are not one of the best teams in the world. I don't think that's necessarily any different now in terms of being among the best teams in the world. I think, as I've said for a while now, I think they're a top 20 team on paper on terms of talent. What you want from Maurizio Pochettino is a team that plays above their level on paper and consistently does that. Not every once in a while, not has a nice run, but can elevate themselves into that next group, be a more productive collective than the individuals that are part of it. Can he help do that? Something we're going to be looking for in this competition, his first opportunity to win a trophy with the U.S. men's national team. Mexico, Canada in the second game. Canada's trying to do the same thing. Maybe it's a little bit closer to what the U.S. did back in the mid 90s of trying to really establish yourself as a true contender in CONCACAF and somebody to watch globally. Jesse Marsch is going to try to do that in this competition, and he's facing a Mexico team that is not at their best level right now. I don't think they have their best collection of talent that they've had in a while. I do look forward to seeing what Javier Aguirre can do with Santiago Jimenez and Raul Jimenez up top. Do they play together? Can he get Santi to play at the club, or like he does at the club level with the national team? Can those things happen? Can be fascinating to see. And I agree with everything John Arnold wrote in his Getting CONCACAF newsletter, and that's a must subscribe if you are not, about kind of where things stand for those two teams in this match. Looking forward to it. 7 o'clock USA Panama, 10:30 Mexico Canada. Watch on Paramount Plus. World Cup qualifying underway. We have a team that has booked their spot officially for 2026, the first team outside of the hosts to be able to say that they will be participating in this country and Mexico and Canada in 2026, and it is Japan. 2-0 win over Bahrain this morning. First team outside of the host to book their spot. Takefusa Kubo with a goal and an assist in the win. Australia, they defeated Indonesia 5-1 this morning. Game was closer than the scoreline indicated. Indonesia had control on the road. They earned an early penalty and it went off the post. Australia goes the other way, gets a penalty via VAR, and ended up turning the tide. Jackson Irvine with 2 goals for the Socceroos of Australia. And that puts them a little bit closer to booking their spot. More games in Asia this morning and afternoon. Africa and South American World Cup qualifiers also today in the afternoon and in the evening. South Korea leading Oman 1-0 in the second half. That one has not gone final as I am recording. Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup last night. 4 pro teams went down to cup sets. Virginia Dream, they won 3-1 at the Richmond Kickers, the 1995 winners of the trophy. Little Rock Rangers, they hosted Birmingham Legion and won 1-0. El Farolito, they won 3-1 in extra time at Real Monarchs. Farolito, if I could say it this morning, as I'm trying to wake up. I need a little more espresso myself. They won the U.S. Open Cup in 1993 under the CD Mexico banner. And one of the cool things about their win, there was one El Farolito fan waving a flag in the stands for most of the 120 minutes. One dude. Hopefully he I don't know, got a massage for his arms afterwards because that was a big flag. And that was a long time to be doing that. Very cool to see. And I don't think this one's a cup set, but on paper it is. Des Moines Menace with a whole bunch of former professionals. They beat Sporting Kansas City 2-1. 2 goals from Sasha Klestin. Not your typical amateur team, the Des Moines Menace. One of the bigger matchups that's set for the next round is going to be in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga FC will be hosting the Chattanooga Red Wolves on April 2nd. In the release to announce this, CFC left Chattanooga out of the Red Wolves name and described them as, quote, a club based in Eastridge, Tennessee, unquote. Yeah, that one might be a must watch and maybe even a must get in the car and drive up to Chattanooga for on April 2nd. USL, the announcement came yesterday, right as the Morning Espresso was getting put together. Pro Rel coming in the USL. Paul McDonough said at a couple different places yesterday. This quote is to The Athletic. When we did the research a few years ago, we looked at the different things that could differentiate us and bring more relevance, and launching a Division One and having promotion and relegation were 2 of them. We just felt that if we are going to be relevant to the market and unique, launching a Division One and promotion and relegation makes us different. Now, another thing that was said, and this was not in the initial release, was that the promotion and relegation plan is contingent on the creation of that new top tier division, which, as things currently stand, according to US soccer standards, you need at least 12 clubs that have stadiums with a capacity of at least 15,000 seats. You only have a couple that would qualify for that right now in stadiums that are not theirs, that they are playing in and renting, that are as big as 15,000 seats. Now, maybe the professional league standards change. I don't know. I don't know where those stadiums are necessarily going to come from for some of these USL teams. McDonough said that the promotion and relegation potential would not be fully realized. He said it wouldn't be, quote, authentic, unquote, if it was introduced into the current system where they have the USL Championship and USL League One. I disagree with that. I don't know why it's contingent on having a D1 certificate to make promotion and relegation viable in USL. Maybe that will change over time because I think the Division One side of it is going to be difficult and might not be done by 2028. And it would look bad, in my opinion, if they start the talk about it, but then don't do it or keep pushing it back. I don't think they're going to gain from that. I think they would gain from having a promotion and relegation set up between the USL Championship and USL League One, which it sounds like they will have anyway, unless they're not. and you're only going to have promotion and relegation between the top two divisions in USL, which they hope would be a first division and USL championship. And then how do USL League One teams move up? If they move up, or do they not move up, or do they move into their own thing? I don't know. I'm maybe more questions than answers now after some of the statements that came yesterday. I wish USL well. I think you can have in a league this size two very important, thriving leagues that grow the game in this country, like Major League Soccer and USL. It doesn't have to be antagonistic. The marketplace will decide, and I think the markets that are involved will help decide. And I think there's enough markets in the United States for all of the above to be thriving and happy and successful. And hopefully, the thought from everybody involved is about sustainability and not about chasing attention and chasing certificates and chasing just short term money. I hope it is about sustainability and long term, and we'll see if this works or not. It's not going to be easy to get off the ground, especially if it's contingent on that Division One status and certification, with a lot of teams either needing to rent new stadiums, which comes at a cost, or build new stadiums, which comes at a cost. UEFA Women's Champions League, 2 games yesterday. Barcelona 4-1 win in Germany over Wolfsburg. Barcelona is your defending champion. Manchester City, they beat Chelsea for the first time this season. Catarina Macario, she's one of 3 Americans with Chelsea. She's the only one to suit up, played the first half. 28-game unbeaten run for Chelsea in Sonia Bonpastor's first season in charge. Now they've got to somehow overturn a 2-goal deficit against Manchester City next week. From Jeff Kassouf at ESPN, a new global 7v7 women's soccer event is set to launch ahead of the UEFA Women's Champions League final. Promise of a $5 million prize pool per event. It's going to be called World Sevens Football. It's a Grand Slam series, is how they're describing it. First tournament will be in Portugal, May 21st to 23rd. Future events planned in football loving cities across the U.S., Mexico, Asia, Europe, and beyond. 8 professional women's clubs will compete in each event. Roster choices are at their discretion. Several top women's clubs are expected to participate, although none have been announced yet. There will be one more tournament later in 2025, according to ESPN. They want more tournaments in 2026. It's co-founded by Jennifer McCasey, a minority investor in Gotham FC and in the Chelsea FC women's side. Entrepreneur Justin Fishkin is also involved in this as a way to, quote, provide players economic opportunity in a way that truly reflects their value. There's a player advisory council led by Tobin Heath. Former internationals are involved in this as well. Um, Look, this is coming off of the backs of the success of TST, which is going to have another competition this year in June. 16 women's teams there. I think what's interesting and maybe what's being hinted at here is this might not purely be retired players from these women's clubs all over the world, but maybe current professionals that participate in it. But then how does that work? Because the timing of the first tournament is at the end of most European domestic seasons. So you could get some of them, but it's in the middle of the NWSL season. So I don't think they're going to participate. Uh, it also overlaps the semifinals and the final of the Concacaf W Champions Cup, which is going to have Liga MX Femenil teams, at least 2 of them. So I'm very intrigued, especially if it's going to include current players. That really changes the paradigm here. But does it work? Well, look, again, the marketplace is going to decide, and we will find out. I'm intrigued. I want to see it. So let's see how it turns out. The World Sevens football getting started in May of this year. UEFA Nations League, alongside UEFA World Cup qualifying, the Nations League, it has the quarterfinals over this window. Netherlands and Spain, Croatia playing France, Denmark playing Portugal, Italy playing Germany. Matteo Retegui, the leading scorer in Serie A, he's going to miss both of Italy's games against Germany, right thigh injury. That was announced yesterday. Couple more on the espresso as we wrap up. The Marshall Islands, who we have talked about quite a bit here on the SDH Network, They are hosting the Outrigger Cup in Springdale, Arkansas. And I know that sounds crazy, but Springdale, Arkansas is the home to the largest Marshallese population outside of the nation itself. They will be playing the Turks and Caicos, Guam, and I think one more in this competition. They have never played an 11-a-side match before the Marshall Islands. They're not part of FIFA yet, not part of the World Cup qualifying process yet, but this is going to be a very exciting thing to see in Springdale, Arkansas. We'll be covering a lot of it. You will hear plenty about the Marshall Islands as we get ready for that. DAZN, we've covered this in terms of Ligue 1 TV rights in France and how having the rights for DAZN has not gone well. They have been in debates and potentially legal cases with the French Federation and with Ligue 1 about this because they are not getting their value. They're trying to find another way to get more people to watch, and they are offering a 3-month subscription in return for the purchase of a McDonald's value meal. Yes. If you buy a cheeseburger or something similar through the French McDonald's app, the rest of the league season is yours to enjoy. It's different kind of toy in the Happy Meal box for sure. Is it going to work? Maybe. I don't know if McDonald's is going to sell more value meals or combos or whatever. Um, I don't know if it's a great look. Eh, We'll see. Interesting way to try to get this to work for Liga, one of the biggest leagues in the world in France. We'll see if McDonald's and DAZN can combine to change the paradigm for watching French league football. We do not have any offers like that for you, but we can let you know that we will be back for another heaping cup of the Morning Espresso tomorrow morning, where we'll talk about the Concacaf Nations League. We'll talk about Open Cup. We'll talk about all kinds of things as we get ready for a weekend of soccer in Major League Soccer. Come back and join us again tomorrow morning, Friday morning, on the SDH Network, on YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, the Morning Espresso is brought to you by our friends at Oglethorpe University.